Ralph Shearing, President CEO of the company. We're developing in Mexico. We're actually mining and developing a mine at this point in time. Forward-looking statements, we all say this, but there are a number of forward-looking statements in our presentation, assumptions, etc. Please have a look at this, viewers, and if you want, in the posting that Eric has on our presentation on the website. So Telson has two projects. We're a TSX venture listed company traded under the symbol TSN, an easy one to remember. We just announced a $25 million funding led by Ascendo Banco out of Mexico, one of the premier mining banks in Mexico, with the help of Endeavor Financial and Empress Royalties with a small stream for silver. Our main project, or what I call the flagship project, is Tahuehueto. It's up here in the northwestern part of Durango in Mexico. And we're building a mine there that should be one of the higher grade mines in Mexico. According to Ban Americas, we could be in the top 4 highest grade producers in Mexico. Not the most gold, but the highest grade gold. And high grade is a miner's friend, without question. At Campo Morado, down here in Guerrero, this is the 6th largest zinc producer in Mexico at this point in time. And we're producing around 22,000 tons of zinc equivalent, so base metals included, per annum. We have more than 2.4 million ounces of gold equivalent with just gold and silver in the combined assets. And we have 2.1 million tons of zinc equivalent with base metals only in the combined assets of both projects. Both projects have organic growth. We have excellent exploration potential. We think we can expand both of these projects very easily with exploration success. So we feel it's a very good investor opportunity here. We have current ongoing cash flow generation, near-term growth at Tahuehueto. If you look at our cash flow generation, we're generating approximately $0.8 million of EBITDA on a monthly basis from Campo Morado operations. We have near-term growth potential at Tahuehueto. This mine is in construction. We expect to complete it with this financing. This was the key to restarting the construction. We expect to have it up and running late this year. Long-term upside from exploration on both the projects, both from the M&I resources at Tahuehueto. We could get another 10 years mine life just upgrading those M&I resources to add them to reserves. And both projects have really good exploration potential to increase reserves and resources. So we're really undervalued, as all companies are these days in this sector, I guess. But we have a combined NPV of both projects around $140 million at a steep discount of 15%. And we're trading about 26% of that value at this point in time. So we have a lot of room to increase as things come together. Then we have exposure to both base metals and precious metals in Latin America. This is our reserves table. So probable at Tahuehueto, here's our probable reserves at 3.2 million tons. You note this gold grade is quite high, 3.4 grams per ton. We have another 6 million tons of M&I resources, which include the reserves, but that should give us another 10-year mine life by upgrading that into reserves. Over at Campo Morado, we have about 16 million tons at these grades. Now note these high-grade precious metals for a volcanogenic massive sulfide deposit. This is actually, could be a precious metal mine, but these gold and silver are refractory at the moment. But I'm going to show you some ways we think we can unlock that gold and start to recover it. Our metal production guidance for this coming year. So annual averages for gold payable on a combined basis from both projects, about 40,000 ounces. Silver payable, about 1.8 million ounces. You put that on a gold equivalent basis, it's around 64,000 ounces of gold equivalent with just gold and silver on an annual basis. And then we have 28,000 metric tons of zinc equivalent, which would include zinc, copper, and lead on an annual basis coming out of the combined production of the mines. And this is a performance guidance outlook. So over a 9-year life of mine combined in both projects, and again, both projects have a lot more life in them, but this is the current mine plan we have for them both. So we're expecting net revenues on an annual basis of about 146 million. All in cash costs are around 79. So our margin's about $67 per ton on a combined basis from both projects. That should pull us revenues in the neighborhood of $118 million, with 65 million cash cost. So our EBITDA is around 66 million, and free tax flows we're expecting to be about $34 million annually from both projects. We'll go in and have a quick look at Tabaweto. This is set to be one of the top higher grade gold mines once it's in production. This is some of the construction pictures. The mill under construction, our camp is in place, just equipment. Carrying on to production guidance for Tabaweto. Average gold out of Tabaweto on an annual basis, around 26,000 ounces. Average silver, about 460,000 ounces. On a gold equivalent basis, that should be about 32.6 million or 1,000 ounces on an annual basis. Base and metals equivalent, about just around 9,000 metric tons of equivalent base metals with lead, zinc, and copper. That does not include precious metals. 66% of our revenues come from gold. So this is a true gold project, although it is polymetallic. These pre-feasibility studies, in 2017, we had a 550 ton per day pre-feasibility study commission. The metrics came back very healthy, but a 21-year mine life. So we actually underestimated the quality of this project for that pre-feas. So we asked their engineer to go back and study it at 1,000 tons per day, but we did not publish a new report due to cost. However, the 1,000 tons per day are much, much better. At 550 tons, capital cost 37, $67 per ton, gold equivalent cash cost about 494. So this is quite a robust project, and will produce excellent cash flows. We've proven up metallurgy very well. We've had a toll mill campaign underway for a while. We've produced over 42,000 tons of ore, and we are getting these recoveries. So 80% recoveries and above on all metals except zinc for 70. We believe we can do a lot better in our own mill once it's built, because this is a toll mill not ideally set up for our mineralization. So we expect to do better. We go into the actual project itself. So this is the Google image of the district. Our district is about 12 kilometers by 8 kilometers. And it's around 90 square kilometers of the total mineralized district known as Tabaweto. And our concessions cover around 83% of that at 7,500 square kilometers, 75 kilometers, sorry. So this is like I picture it as a little mini San Dimas mining district. We have multiple structures. You can see all of these structures throughout here. These are all mineralized. We see them on surface. We've only explored along this one red outline structure. The red holes are resources and reserves. We weren't able to drill here because there's too much overlying cover, but we see the zone again over on this side. So to put this in perspective, we feel that this structural corridor comes from the river with high level alteration here up to the north of the property. That's about 7 kilometers. And we've only explored along about 2.4 to 2.7 kilometers of strike length along this one structure. Any of these other structures could prove up to have similar mineralization. We actually drilled 6 or 7 holes here on Texcalama, and we see similar mineralization as we have along our resource reserve structure. So we expect to continue to find more resources, reserves as we push this project along. I'll go back one, sorry. This next slide shows you a long section along here. And that'll show you the teal colored outlines are our reserves. If they're not outlined, they're the resource. All of these ore bodies are open to depth. We haven't found the limit of those ore bodies. Our average hole depth is about 200 meters from surface. We haven't drilled in here because it's overlying cover, but we'll drill underground. We expect to continue to push these ore bodies through and connect up with the Santiago zone. And this structure continues on down, we believe, to the river. But again, it's covered by younger rocks. We can't drill it from surface. Quickly into Campo Morado. Campo Morado is the 6th largest zinc producer in Mexico. That's the mill, existing tailings facility, our storage facility that's full. We intend to reprocess that. Mine workings go into the hillside here. So, as I say, I keep saying that 6th largest zinc producer. We have 20 years of measured and indicated reserves that are production rate around 2,200 tons per day. We're a low-cost producer, and we're investing to improve the mine through a number of different recovery methods, doing some metallurgical testing for increased recovery methods. On a project summary basis, we own this 100%, as we own Tabaweto 100%, by the way. I neglected to say that. It's a underground mining operation, sublevel open stoping, so bulk mining. Processing is flotation, volcanogenic massive sulfide. It's operating, or currently have revenues around $4 million a month and EBIT of about $0.8 million. All in cash costs are around $65 per ton. And that includes everything. And this is about $30 less than the previous operator was operating on this mine. So we've really reduced our costs and made it more efficient. And that's we're producing payable zinc equivalent per year, about 46,000 metric tons. A few pictures of the mine. I'm going to skip those quickly. It's not a lot of time left. Exploration potential at Campo Morado is very, very good. All of our ore bodies are shown here in this long section. We're mining this area right here now, and we're moving to this other one soon. But you can see these are all regional geochemical and or geophysical anomalies that were developed by Nearstar, the previous owner. These are all drill ready. Any one of these could bring up new massive sulfide bodies. And within this blue ellipse are these ore bodies. Geophysics, borehole geophysics shows a lot of very good deeper targets on these stacked pods of massive sulfide mineralization. Some drill holes have been put through them, so you can see some intersections of good solid massive sulfide zones. They all need to be followed up, and we believe we can increase and find new ore bodies below these ore bodies to be able to access from the existing mine workings, as well as hopefully develop new ore bodies along these regional targets. So at Campo Morado, where we see additional potential revenue sources is the mill expansion. There is another flotation circuit that was under construction with the previous owner. It was 80% complete. We could bring that online and have increased production by 1/3 to go to 3,000 tons per day. We just signed up an agreement to do a 3-month pilot testing program, bringing equipment on site for immelflat flotation to increase base metal recoveries from microfine grinding. And at the same time, that same group does a leach ox process, which has been successfully tested at Campo Morado. And Nearstar tested it in 2015, and they were able to increase gold recoveries up to 65%. That's a 400% increase from what we're getting now, and an 81% increase in silver, up to 200% increase, 81% recoveries. So this is a very interesting technology that has proven to be successful in several mines in Africa. And we want to take this through second phase testing, and that's what the pilot plant on site will do. Expected another 45 days to get it to site, and then there'll be a 3-month testing program. We have a historic tailings facility that has around 3.2 million tons in it. That contains probably 300,000 ounces of gold equivalent gold and silver. If this leach ox testing works, we expect to reprocess that at a very low cost. And then the exploration, we hope to double the resource reserves in the next 2 to 3 years once we have enough money to start drilling. And we could conceivably see increasing the size of Campo Morado to 5,000 tons or more within 5 years or so. Aggressive, but it's a good target to shoot for. And a little bit on corporate information. So we have 183 million shares issued, existing options and warrants outstanding. We're going to be issuing another 65 million shares for the current private placement that we just announced, plus converting a royalty at Campo Morado into shares, getting rid of that burden, and then more warrants and documentation process for the private placement, etc. We'll have 247 million shares issued at the end of our financing, and on a fully diluted basis, 325 million shares. Well-held company, institutions 21%, management, close associates of management 17, insiders in management 31%. So a public float of around 30%. And then this is sort of a corporate debt style slide. Projected market capitalization after completion of the financings, about $58 million. These are long-term debt facilities we have with both Trafigura. Ascendo will be the one we're entering into now. So on our long-term balance, our debt is $35 million. And with cash equivalents, et cetera, it gives us an enterprise value of $117 million, more or less, and EBITDA of about 73. If you compare the enterprise value to EBITDA ratio, it's 1.6. It's very attractive. A lot of our peers are at the 3 ratio. So we have an attractive situation that would be a good investment for anybody that wants a producer and a company that can grow quickly. So finally, Tahoe Huetos will be fully funded as soon as we close this financing. Expect to bring that online at the end of the year. Well, currently, more than 2.4 million ounces of gold equivalent, reserves and resource expansions have been identified. We can explore and develop these quite easily. We have a cash flow generating asset now, second very near-term production at Tahoe Hueto, and the successful management team that has been able to bring this company out of a very tough situation into a very good-looking situation moving forward. And then we'll get our advanced pilot plant testing underway to improve cash flows at Campo Morado. Looks like I'm out of time. There's a few other little slides, but I think that I'll just pass it back to Eric.